I did a Twitter feed review a couple of days ago, and it was pretty popular. People kind of liked that, thought it was kind of funny, so I thought I'd do another one. And boy, do I have a gold mine for that one. This one is put out by a Twitter member named Matt Orfalia, and he seems to be kind of on the pro Kyle side. So at any rate, let's take a look at what started this whole thing. So Matt publishes this tweet, and it has two images. The first one says, guilty of murder, Kyle Rittenhouse. 85% people say he's guilty of murder. Self-defense, 15%. Okay. And then we go to the next one. If you're getting chased by an angry mob and one of the people is running at you with a gun, can you defend yourself with a gun? Yes, 85% said yes. Seems to be a little bit of an inconsistency there. Well, let's go ahead and watch what people say in the Twitter feed. Hello out there. I am trying to get through.
With his powerful brainwaves cradled in the warmth of reasoning, it's time for Johnnie Walker Dread to straighten you out on a thing or two. Emanating all the way from exciting Las Vegas, Oklahoma, it's the Johnnie Walker Dread Show.
Okay, so let's take a look here. So Matt starts off by saying that there's some critical differences between those two screenshots. Okay, let's go ahead and start. OJ says, yeah, let's remove all context. The fact that he transported a firearm across state lines as a minor with the intention of agitating an already high-tension protest is all meaningless, right? I did respond to this one. I said he had no such intention. By the way, that's one of the dumb arguments that I put forth by the anti-Kyles, was that he went to Kenosha that night to hurt people. Pure nonsense. We have plenty of video of him that night, and he did nothing but look for injured protesters and protect property. And if you don't believe it, I have the videos. You can watch it for yourself. Okay, let's continue on. If you walk into a crowd of people with the intent of shooting them, rile some of them up, and then shoot them, you are not doing self-defense. There's no evidence that he did any of that. And Nafnared2 says, good thing Kyle didn't do that then. Not sure why you're bringing this thing up. I gave that one a good like on that. Yeah, that's exactly right. If you defend Kyle Rittenhouse, you're a racist right-winger in my book. See how political this gets? People on Twitter are having a terribly tough time understanding the difference between people who introduce nuance to a complicated question and people who are enemies and should be destroyed. Whoa, where'd that come from? Okay. Why would you need to think about these issues when the answers have been provided by the media? You lack faith, along with all the other apostates and blasphemers. Only crypto-fascists hide behind Weasley concepts such as nuance. Okay, whatever. I don't even want to dive into that. That's a rabbit hole if I ever saw one. Kyle Rittenhouse is a murderer. Period. I did a video on this one. I've said, watch out for people who say, period. End of thread. End of discussion. It's called truth by blatant assertion, or what I call truth by bluster. And usually when people say it, it's because they've just said something stupid. And Kyle Rittenhouse is a murderer. There's no argument there. Name a murderer who was chased and attacked first by every single last person he killed. Good point. You can't, because that's called self-defense. Yep. My God, Kyle Rittenhouse didn't even shoot first that night. Joshua Zeminski did. Self-defense isn't murder. He's right. He's absolutely right in everything he says there. Read the criminal complaint. Yeah, criminal complaints tend to be written in terms of the defendant being guilty. The fact that it's stated in a criminal complaint means nothing. Although this criminal complaint looks like it was written by the defense, to be honest with you. He had already murdered someone like 3 minutes before he was running down the street. First guy tossed a grocery bag at him. He shot back. That's not exactly what happened. I mean, Rosenbaum throws a bag at him, but he continued chasing him and then tried to grab Kyle's rifle. She's leaving that out. To be honest with you, I don't even think she knows that. Can't claim self-defense during the commission of a crime. Well, that's actually not true. The Wisconsin statute says that if you're committing a crime during a self-defense, you might not be able to, depending on the nature of the crime. It doesn't say that you can't claim self-defense during the commission of a crime. Otherwise, you could just mow down everybody there that was protesting because guess what? They're all breaking curfew. Fleeing an unlawful weapon. Wait a minute. She's talking about the first murder, and the very fact that he fled from Joseph Rosenbaum is evidence that he's guilty. Oh, by the way, she could also be talking about the notion that you can't flee the scene of a crime. That also made one of my dumb arguments that I created there, that disclose some of the dumb arguments people make. There is no law that says you have to stay at the scene of a crime if you commit it. She's thinking of a vehicle code where you can't flee the scene of an accident. Kyle was being chased before a single bullet had been fired that night. That's true. And when the first bullet was fired, it was fired out of Joshua Zeminski's pistol. Yes, that's true. We know that as a fact. Not Kyle's rifle. Yep. He continues, your emotions don't change reality. Sorry. You don't know these people. Well, he's right, but she's not going to go for that. Emotions are everything with these people. Hey, name a single person Kyle shot who isn't on video chasing him first. Can you do that? Good question. There is no evidence Kyle wanted to kill anyone. Yep. He ran away from every single attacker until he couldn't anymore, and it's all on video. Now, she's going to come back with some solid evidence, right? She's probably going to post a YouTube video and a timestamp that contradicts what he is saying. Let's see what she says. But he did. Okay, there you go. And if you hit someone with your car, you're still responsible. What? Not necessarily. What kind of analogy is that? The fact that he had an illegal weapon is why it's not legal self-defense. That's actually not true. I have an whole video on this. Let's suppose, and I actually had a news item about this. There was a case where there was a young girl in Oklahoma who had a person break in. He had a knife, and she shot him. She was like 11 years old. Guess what? She's not allowed to have possession of a rifle because she's too young. She's breaking the law. However, nobody charged her. Now, according to her, can't do that. That person picking up that rifle is breaking the law, and you can't claim self-defense in that case. Ridiculous argument. It's stupid, and it's unconstitutional. That's a misdemeanor that is punishable by a fine. Actually, you could get a jail sentence for that, but it is still a misdemeanor. You don't get the death sentence for that. It's 9 months in jail and a $10,000 fine. Whatever. It doesn't make any difference how severe the crime is. It's not nothing. It's a crime. I'm sorry if you don't agree, but Wisconsin statutes at that, you're wrong. Yeah, I'm going to respond to her a little bit later. She's wrong. She's not reading the Wisconsin statutes. Wisconsin statutes are clear that if you're in the act of committing a crime, that the assumption, what they use the actual term presumption, that the assumption that you're acting in self-defense is gone, but it doesn't necessarily remove self-defense. It just simply means that you can't assume that you're acting in self-defense. It depends on the nature of the crime. And so Wisconsin basically says that if you're in the act of committing a crime, you might not be able to claim self-defense depending on what the crime is. He was also charged with recklessly endangering safety, which happened before the murders. No, probably not. And I'm sorry, but I think she's talking about the shot taken at McGinnis, but that occurred like within about 0.1 second of the shot that killed Rosenbaum. Kyle Rittenhouse broke the law when he crossed state lines with a gun. Oh my God. They still can't get off that. That was also one of the dumb arguments that I exposed on one of my videos. He couldn't legally own in his own state of Illinois, let alone Wisconsin. He had no business being there. That's another one of the arguments I put out in terms of the dumb arguments. And his action of getting there and killing people shows intent to kill. So the very fact that he was there means that he was out to kill people. That's another one. This guy nails down 3 of my dumb arguments in one thread. What I mean by my dumb arguments, I mean the videos I put out on other people's dumb arguments. Amazing. And so it seems like the discussion is either can he be convicted of lesser charges or should he be held responsible for premeditated murder? I hope they can stack the lesser charges. He's just a stupid kid, needs deprogramming. I think that Kyle is going to be on the hook for curfew violation, and I think he's probably going to be on the hook for minor possession. The other stuff, no, self-defense. Here we go. Even in states with stand your ground laws, the law doesn't protect gun owners who instigate or provoke a situation. How did he do that? That forces them to defend themselves. Kyle's running from Rosenbaum. Rosenbaum didn't have to chase him. By the way, the law is clear in Wisconsin, and morons like this will never figure this thing out. Why? Skull is about this thick, and I'll explain it. The law says that if you flee, even if you provoke the violence, if you flee, you get to reassert your self-defense rights. Rosenbaum chased after him. He didn't have to. And therefore, Kyle can defend himself. So I can't drive across 2 states. Well, he didn't drive across 2 states. That would be being in 4 states. To cosplay riot police. Well, how is he cosplaying? He's not even in uniform. I think the cos is costume, right? Cosplay riot police and then claim self-defense. He just has no clue. He has no idea what went on. Some people, they just were oxygen deprived at too young of an age. Just a bit puzzled here. Is Matt trying to defend Rittenhouse? I guess. This is Kyle's responsibility. Since he was there holding a weapon he was not supposed to have. Okay, another one of my dumb argument videos focused on this particular argument here. Prancing around like a baby rent-a-cop. Policing protesters. He didn't police anybody. His antics angered the wrong dude who ran after him. Oh, I see Rosenbaum here is the hero. And since KR had a gun, he used it and killed the dude. Gee, maybe that's the reason why it was really stupid for the dude to chase him in the first place. It's all on him. Kyle Rittenhouse was driven across state lines to shoot into a crowd that had to fend him off with the skateboard. So Kyle shows up in Kenosha and he just choo, and this poor person comes up with the skateboard and has to fend Kyle off. Yeah, that's really what happened? Okay. Hope that clears up any confusion. I don't think it cleared up any confusion. I think it might have added to it. Kyle didn't even shoot first that night. That's true. If he went there to shoot into a crowd, as you put it, why did he wait until after he was shot at to do it? But gee, that's a good question. And let's see, Snutzelluft's response is what? Oh, didn't have one. Yeah, good luck with that one. Was someone running after Kyle with a gun? Oh, I think this is a reference to the original tweet. Yes, he fired it into the air while chasing him. Talking about Joshua Ziminski. Although it's not entirely clear if he pointed it at Kyle, but in some still frames it does look that way. Okay. This is the first I heard about the guy who got his arm shot was shooting into the air. He can't even get his victim straightened out. Can anyone cite anything with this? Oh, for Christ's sake, you can't go on to YouTube and look up one of the videos? Okay, so he's got engaged Grosskreutz or Grosskreutz or whatever mixed up with Joshua Ziminski because he doesn't know what he's talking about. He has not followed the news. So far, I can't find anything saying Gage Grosskreutz fired his weapon. Again, he's still got it all confused. I find articles where he says he didn't, and no one disputes this. Oh, you got a really good argument going there, Rapanui. Let's see what he says here. It wasn't Gage. It was Josh, a close associate of Rosenbaum. Thank you, Asian, for straightening him out. Maybe that's Aslan. I'm not sure. Except you haven't straightened him out. He ain't going to let that sink in. This is obviously a lot more this is good. This is obviously a lot more complex than how people have decided to frame it. Hey, you're right. This is an actual complex issue. I am glad that at 2020 is going to come in and show us the complexity of this argument. An immature child thinking he was doing the right thing put himself in a stupid situation that led him to be attacked and kill someone. Though this is a very complex thing here, and then he comes off with this thing. Oh my God. Wasn't it the mother who drove her heavily armed child from Illinois to Wisconsin? Yeah, here's Wendy Rittenhouse and there's Kyle with his rifle, and they're driving across the state lines. Again, we have known since September that that's not what happened. Yet these people can't be bothered to know even the most basic facts. Yet they think they know that Kyle was guilty. Explain how it's self-defense when you shoot the first someone in the back. Well, I actually have a video that shows how it's self-defense. And I think the video is titled something like, "Did Kyle shoot Joseph Rosenbaum in the back?" And I went through the medical examiner's report, well, the excerpt from it, and I looked at the actual anatomy involved and what took place and Richard McGinnis's testimony, and I pieced it together to show how it could be self-defense. But these people are not going through that kind of effort. And then shoot the Good Samaritan who is trying to stop the bleeding of the first victim. Who the hell is he talking about? Who is this Good Samaritan who is trying to stop the bleeding who got shot by Kyle Rittenhouse? He already did. The first shot came from someone outside the situation, so that gives you permission to blast away. Easy stuff. No, that's not what happened, guys. Stop. The person that was chasing Kyle lunged for his gun right at the moment that Kyle opened fire. It's on video. Kyle got 4 shots within 0.75 seconds. I measured it. I even have the standard error associated with that measurement if anybody wants to see it. It's not like I just timed it once. It's 0.75. I slowed that thing down, counted off 4, divide by 4. I got 0.75 seconds. 4 shots within 0.75 seconds. And so it's not like Kyle stood over the guy and said, "Okay, take this, commie." That didn't happen, but that's what they think happened. And by the way, he is saying the first shot came from someone outside the situation. That's true. So that gives you permission to blast away. Okay, so I misread this a little bit, so let me explain what he's trying to say. Ziminski opens fire. And he's saying, well, Kyle thought, hey, somebody's opened fire. I think that gives me permission to start shooting people. It's not what happened. Kyle's on the run. Rosenbaum is chasing him. Kyle has a legitimate fear. He doesn't know if Rosenbaum is carrying a knife or anything. And so he's running. By the way, he's doing the responsible thing. He has an AR-15. He could have shot Joseph Rosenbaum right from the get-go, but instead he's trying to get away. And then Joshua Zeminski opens fire. Kyle had to have heard that and thought, oh my God, the man is shooting at me. So what does Kyle do? He turns around and there's Rosenbaum right on top of him. By the way, this is the story that Richard McGinnis is telling, and he was right there and saw the whole thing. And so Rittenhouse turns around, Rosenbaum's right on him, and Kyle opens fire. Hell, I'd have done the same thing. Don't blame Kyle one bit. You don't want to get shot, don't be chasing me. You don't want to be shot, stay in the damn mental hospital where you belong. Rittenhouse, whenever they use the word literally, usually what follows is garbage. Rittenhouse literally shot and killed 2 protesters. No, we thought he figuratively shot them. I'm so glad that Aaron from the Revolution has come in and tell us that no, it wasn't a figurative shooting, it was a literal shooting. He wasn't even in his own state. Who cares? That's another one of the dumb arguments that I exposed. It doesn't matter. And by the way, Kyle lives like 15 miles from Kenosha. This guy thinks that he's drove all the way across the country to get to Kenosha. Oh, by the way, they have no problem with protesters doing that. If a protester drives in from Michigan or from Oklahoma, they have no problem with that. He had an assault rifle, yeah, a weapon designed to kill others. Yeah, I think rifles are generally designed to kill, well, others could be other things like pigs. An AR-15 is a very good rifle on hogs. Don't tell me it's not. I know it is. In fact, in my opinion, the AR-15 is the very best rifle out there for a hog population control. Is it a good deer rifle? Actually, a little underpowered for a deer rifle, but it can kill a pig. Boy, it can kill a pig. This was not self-defense. He's carrying a rifle, so it was not self-defense. Well, that would negate almost all self-defense. He used a pistol designed to kill people, which pistols typically are. Can't claim self-defense if you use a weapon that's designed to kill people. What the hell kind of argument is that? That's a stupid argument. I'm going to put a dumb argument out on this one. It was intentional. Yes, it was intentional. He intended to shoot Joseph Rosenbaum and the other guys because that's the nature of self-defense. In fact, you can't claim self-defense if it's not intentional. We have case law about that. I forget the name of the actual case name. If somebody's interested, I'll post it. But it says basically that if you want to claim self-defense, you had to have intentionally tried to shoot the person. And the person shows that's self-defense, fam. And yeah, look at it. That's self-defense, guys. Rosenbaum's chasing him. Come on. Megascope. Yes, also help me with this situation. Okay, he's got a video there. Go to my replies and see my videos, ratio and comments. I don't care about your ratios. That means nothing. And comments. I'll take a look at it later. It might make another video for me. Explain your unacceptable take on this. Can't. Really disappointed though by, unfollowing. Okay. Come on, man, that dude went there looking for a fight. Context matters. Okay. You went looking for a fight? Prove it. He went there to de-escalate tensions. Actually, Kyle made a claim that he did help de-escalate an arson of a church. I have no idea if that is the truth, but he made the claim on video that's what he did. Protect the crowds, yes, Protect the property of an owner. Yes. Provide medical help. Yes, he did all those, and they're all on video. He went with gun-bearing friends. Guns were to be used for cover if Kyle needed to enter a crowd to rescue someone. He basically said that. He was being chased. Yes, he was. About to be attacked. All those are on video. There's proof of everything he says there, or at least good claims. And here we come back with Mr. Rhodes Scholar, somebody who has finished up his PhD in logic. Klansmen always back up their white friends. This is what I'm talking about. This is the level of discourse that we're dealing with. People who cannot research, they cannot think about anything for any length of time, they cannot engage in any critical thinking. All they can do is just make snide comments. They don't understand what took place that night, and if they did, they would change their tune. No, they wouldn't. They wouldn't. They could watch the video, and it'd be right there in front of them. Rosenbaum is chasing Kyle. Man, that looks like self-defense. But they wouldn't. They would turn off the video. They would just turn it off because they want to believe Kyle is guilty. Again, this is a political deal. Okay, so I'm going to read the very last one here. I mean, I could read this thing all night long. KR went there to kill people. Again, that's another one of the arguments that I produced there in my dumb argument playlist. It's not true. At least there's no evidence for it. It was premeditated. So he went there with the intention of it. It was a part of a plan. His first victim was not self-defense. After that, if you isolate each moment that night, you could argue self-defense, but he seriously needs to be removed from society. He will do less time than Brock Turner did, and that's tragic. Okay, well, we all know about the Brock Turner thing. And by the way, that was a bunch of BS, I admit. Brock Turner got off way too lightly. I agree with that. Like my video and subscribe to my channel. I'll do some more of these in the future. It's kind of fun.